Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, a new chief in town. We go one-on-one with Evanston Police Chief Shanita Stewart. Hear about her first days on the job and how she hopes to serve Evanston.
And meet us at the market. With just 2 weeks left in the Evanston Farmers Market season, we've got some hidden treasures you won't want to miss.
And an anniversary of a blooming business. How a family-run flower shop celebrating their 80th anniversary is rooted in community. Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of the Northwestern News Report. I'm Andrew Rowan.
And I'm Julia Richardson. Tonight we have an hour of the news giving you the latest from Northwestern and Evanston.
There's a lot to cover tonight, so let's dive in.
From discussions over the city's budget for next fiscal year to a union collective bargaining agreement, Evanston Police Department's new police chief, Shanita Stewart, began her position at a hectic time. Although she has a lot on her plate, she took the time to sit down with me last week. Take a look.
These are all chiefs. Mine hasn't gone up yet.
Evanston's new police chief, Shanita Stewart, says she's not afraid of being busy.
I was a little preoccupied.
Never been afraid of change or a different opportunity to learn something. So I'm just taking it in stride. If you come along this way.
Stewart transitioned from the East Dundee Police Department 2 weeks ago, and there has been no shortage of work. But her number one priority,
building on the morale of the officers. That's a superstar right there. Having them really understand that they're appreciated. I appreciate what they do on a daily basis.
And in a department dealing with a lot of change,
she will be the 5th police chief in about a 4-year period.
Stability may be what officers need.
I think the most important thing is that Chief Stewart establish herself and have a long, successful run as a chief to bring that stability back to the community and to the department.
Another issue, staffing shortages. The department short 27 patrol officers as of the end of last month.
Being that short, we've had to redeploy officers to other places, away from like problem-solving teams and other proactive measures.
You know, when I worked in Lincolnwood and worked on the homicide task force, I would come here. You couldn't sit down anywhere. You know, you had to kind of stand up. Every desk was kind of full. Now, this is what our investigations look like.
And a national reckoning in the past few years surrounding policing practices.
Let us build back that respect and that trust day by day. Give us a chance to do that. You know, in this profession, we have to own what we've done, our actions.
Despite the challenges, Stewart says she is proud to serve the community she grew up in.
I care, honestly. I think there's a big difference in being invested in where you work and caring about the people you take an oath to protect.
And on the hard days, Stewart looks up at her wall.
My nephew's son, Devin Isaiah Javon McGregor, Boom, unfortunately was murdered with gun violence. I specifically put Boom here for my command staff, for me to see every day. This is why we do the job. It's why we do it in a respectful manner, because in the end, and I've mentioned this before, there's victims.
And as for staff shortages, Stewart says she hopes to work with the city's Department of Human Resources to come up with a more efficient recruitment process.
In other Evanston news, last night the city's 2023 budget proposal, but the city council decided to reschedule that portion of the meeting for a Saturday. A date for that hasn't yet been decided. Alderman Claire Kelly said there wasn't sufficient notice for public comment. But we took a look inside that budget, and something that piqued our interest, that the fire department is requesting $2.1 million in more funding. That's a 12% increase. So I took a look at the proposal and to find out where parts of the increase would go.
Evanston EMS response for ambulance 22 and
Evanston's paramedics see a lot of bad days.
The pediatric calls can weigh on some people a little heavier than others.
This year, they'll respond to over 7,000 EMS calls, nearly 20 every day. That number up 53% over the last 20 years.
It's a population growth is what it is.
But despite the growth in calls, the number of ambulances responding hasn't changed. In one shift, Evanston currently operates 2 ambulances, and they're a lot busier compared to surrounding communities. Evanston's ambulances respond to over 1,000 more calls per year compared to Skokie. When needed, Evanston can launch its third ambulance, but they have to use personnel from a fire engine, and that takes that engine offline.
We're not afraid of the challenge, but to make it a little bit easier, the third ambulance definitely would help.
Now, the department is officially asking for that help.
It's imperative that we're able to sustain the type of service that this town expects.
In Evanston's 2023 budget, a nearly $600,000 request for 7 full-time firefighters who also are trained as paramedics to permanently staff a third ambulance.
So we're going to be able to relieve a lot of that work and, keep our members fresh.
Fire Chief Paul Pollup says the city can afford it. A new state program helps to cover ambulance costs. They're projecting $2 million in revenue for 2023.
We have a funding source that we can do it, so now's the time to really try to get it done.
The third ambulance isn't just a help for the paramedics, it'll actually improve response times across Evanston.
It's a crucial operational move.
The city's 2 main ambulances are located here. When one goes out on a call, it leaves the other one to respond to the rest of the city. That could be on the other side of town.
We're able to get to places pretty quickly, but this is definitely going to make things better. And the most important piece, it's going to keep that 5th engine in service all the time.
A proposal to help the paramedics so they can help you. The deadline to approve the budget is at the end of this year. The city will hold several presentations next month for public comment. Julia?
Thank you, Andrew. Turning to campus news now, Northwestern is celebrating the 50-year anniversary of Title IX legislation this weekend. The event bringing in former Northwestern and professional athletes to speak on Title IX's impact, taking a look back on the progress that's been made while knowing there's work to be done. The event is free to the public and all are encouraged to attend.
I really genuinely hope that students will come to these sessions and will sit in for an hour and take advantage of these amazing people that we've brought to campus to be on these panels.
We'll have more later tonight on the impacts of Title IX at Northwestern.
And coming up after the break, we sat down with the new executive director of Northwestern's Entrepreneurship Hub. Hear how the former Wildcat is shaping community and innovation at the garage. Don't go away.
Knock on its door. You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, What's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
Welcome back. Ryan Stadium was packed Saturday as A&O hosted their annual blowout concert. NNN's Alicia Tang takes us to the front row.
Rapper Amine, indie pop band Michelle, and Northwestern's own DJ, Vitamin K, hit the stage last Saturday for the annual blowout concert. Hundreds attended the sold-out show, which was run by A&O, a student group that's
always just tried to provide entertainment, accessible entertainment to the student body, so making sure our shows are free, trying to have as many people be able to attend as possible, and choosing a wide variety of artists.
Blowout is A&O's first and biggest event of the year.
Our biggest budget, it's our biggest everything, like it's our all hands on deck event.
Their planning process begins in the summer.
Our concerts committee kind of contacts agencies and gets a list of people that are available and within our budget, and then they meet to decide who they want to have come.
In choosing the who, A&O spotlights diversity.
It's been really fun to be able to try to highlight different artists from different marginal identities. So having a lot of Black artists and choosing even genres of music that aren't as represented.
For the students who are in the thick of the midterm season, the blowout concert could not come at a better time.
I'm really excited to spend some time with my friends and listen to some good music.
Blowout was an all-out success. Alicia Tang, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Alicia. It seems like Amine really made the crowd feel something different. Julia?
Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey bringing a spirit of girl power to the MFC Forum last night. Northwestern Hillel partnered with Medill faculty to bring the pair to the Forum stage. Their 2019 book, She Said, is widely respected for exposing Harvey Weinstein's history of sexual abuse against women in Hollywood.
You know, we watched with wonder as the Me Too hashtag went viral, and this reckoning on sexual harassment, on sexual assault, took place in a way that we never could have predicted.
She Said has been adapted into a film uplifting the stories of Weinstein's former employees.
That's part of the drama of it, is that it returns the story to Weinstein's medium, which I think is a really bold and interesting thing to do.
The event was open to all, engaging students and community members in journalistic conversations surrounding the world they live in today. The film adaptation is getting a special screening taking place at the Wilmette Theater next Wednesday, November 2nd.
The Garage, Northwestern startup incubator, helps student founders bring their ideas to life. NNN's Paris Franzway sat down with the NU alum now sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Andrew, students here really love having Mike Rabb as the new executive director just because of how approachable he is. He's very into building community, which is why he often works here in the collaborative spaces rather than in his office. I had a chance to sit down with Rabb earlier this week. Take a look.
As the new executive director of the Garage, Mike Rabb is focused on getting student projects off the ground.
It's a lot of coordination, but kind of vision setting and building to how do we have a bigger impact.
Rabb is no stranger to Northwestern, previously acting as the Garage's interim executive director and graduating from NU in RTVF. His experience and connections shape his leadership.
This was not around when I was a student, so I carry deep meaning in making something that's impactful for students.
As executive director, he's looking to create new opportunities for all students.
Making sure that we're intentional, reaching out to students across the university and inviting them in to take part in this community. And the second is building out that network, as I started to do in 2019, of Northwestern alums working in industry.
And Rabb creating a collaborative environment where student founders can share their own goals for the Garage.
I think there's a lot of work to be done in some really cool ways when it comes to supporting founders as they move beyond Northwestern.
Rabb was once an NU student, just like the founders that use this space. But now he's giving back and creating a community where ideas can flourish.
He's become, everyone's biggest cheerleader, but also our voice of reason.
Mike has really been one of those key community members for me.
Rabb encourages all Northwestern students to try out the Garage.
The way to first get involved is through our Tinker program.
Student founders say they're happy to have a familiar face lead the program they love. Paris Franzway, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Paris.
After the break, with 2 more weekends left to enjoy Evanston's Farmers Market, we take you through the unique stands that line it.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
30 seconds.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
When it comes to apples, pumpkins, and other produce, it's a question of where, not if, they're sold at the Evanston Farmers Market. But NNN's Jeremy Fredericks took a deeper look at the market's more unique stands.
Chic Car Delights owner Diane Joseph turned her childhood memories into a business.
I had a vet, and my dad handed me an envelope, and they had their own tree many years ago on creating their own baccarat business as well. So I looked at that as a sign to take this idea and just run with it.
And for a produce-focused business, there are still ways to stand out.
You take like a little fourth of the tray, that's 40 times vitamins and minerals you're going to get from a regular serving of broccoli.
Miss Microgreens began during the pandemic. Microgreens are closely grown, baby versions of vegetables that pack in vitamins.
I have regulars now, so that's one of my favorite parts of seeing these customers once a week.
And for John Brandel's honey, the customers are the main reason he keeps coming back.
Highly trailed, it's dense, it's a good market.
By planting different species in their fields, Brandel's honey is infused, and the bees do all the work.
We plant buckwheat, wildflower, and clover, so we fool the bees.
Farmers markets. Good produce. Better people.
Farmers markets are a true community, so we get each other's jokes and kind of like quirkiness.
The market closes for the season on November 5th and will be back next spring. Jeremy Fredericks, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jeremy. Be sure to get to the farmers market this weekend before the season ends.
Well, somebody call 911 because Evanston hosted its first emergency preparedness fair over the weekend, and we sent NNN's Jonas Blum to check it out.
As winter approaches, the Evanston Fire Department is making sure everyone is prepared for when potential disaster strikes.
So we take this van out anytime there's any large storms in specific areas.
Alejandro Saldivar is a member of electric company ComEd's emergency care crew. They provide support to
areas that are hard hit by, thunderstorms, wind, anything else that might happen.
When the power goes out,
It's an electric vehicle, so we'll have charging stations where you can actually recharge your phone in case your electricity is still out.
Here at the fair, you can learn about all the different resources available to you during a natural disaster.
It's our first event ever.
Evanston Fire's Division Chief Kim Kuhl organizing the event. The fire department is providing CPR training and handing out emergency preparedness kits.
We've handed out about 150 emergency preparedness kits. They're starter kits.
The kits contain materials donated from the Red Cross.
We have masks that we have acquired over the course of a pandemic, some of which we have some non-perishable food that we can give away.
Chief Kuhl says the fair was a success.
Well, it seems as though there's big interest, so we're really hoping that we'll have more interest as years come, as people really understand the value of being able to promote the program.
The kits also have a little bonus.
Even some coffee, some prepackaged coffee. Everybody can use coffee.
The fire department working to keep Evanston safe and warm this winter. Jonas Blum, Northwestern News Network.
Thank you, Jonas. And for more information to prepare for winter, visit the Evanston Fire Department website.
Chief of Northwestern Police Bruce Lewis provided an update on key safety measures at the university yesterday. In an email, Lewis says next week the university will test Alert NU, an emergency alert system that sends messages during campus emergencies. Also, Lewis says the university is developing guidelines for a new mobile team of mental health experts that will respond to the immediate mental health needs of students.
But don't go far, because coming up later tonight on the Northwestern News Report, we ride along with NU students who are working to get out the vote across Illinois. And an Evanston institution is celebrating an incredible milestone, and NN's Jenny Hubb brings us their story. Don't go away.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
A local family-run flower shop is celebrating its 80th year of bloom, and its deep-rooted place in Evanston is only growing. NNN's Jenny Hubb joins us now in the studio. Jenny, what was that celebration like?
Yeah, Julia, so Saturday was when the open house was. Seville Flowers had empanadas, balloon art, a jazz quartet, and a floral-themed cake. But what was more heartwarming is what Seville Flowers means to the Evanston and Northwestern communities. Take a look. In Seville Flowers, spring has always sprung.
The best vibes I've ever felt were in this place.
Since 1942, good vibes and vibrant bouquets have filled this family-run local business.
The people in the store are so nice and so welcoming that going there was like a treat.
This year marks 80 years of Seville Flowers, meaning 8 decades of a flower shop Evanston residents and Northwestern students have long relied on.
We really try and, deliver something beautiful and something special and unique to your taste.
Mark Jones is the 4th generation owner of Seville, taking over from his mother in 2016. Through him,
we're worrying less about making sure it's traditional and it's more, this is what I would want. And people are loving it, and people want it for themselves too. So
McIntyre says Wildcats are a key customer base, and sometimes
they come in frequently and know exactly which stems they want and switch it up every few days at their house.
Middle senior Antonia Mufarech is one of these flower lovers.
I'm always asking oh, when are the peonies coming? When are the sunflowers coming? They want to be in life's most important moments with you.
And the Seville experience transcends its Sherman Avenue location. McIntyre often chats with students on Instagram to answer questions and share excitement.
It's a collaborative experience.
A collaboration that's reached a milestone, all rooted in one family's legacy. Jenny Huh, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jenny. Seville Flowers has been in the exact same location for 80 years. That's quite unbelievable, if you ask me. Andrew, do you have any plants in your apartment?
I do not. I wish I had a green thumb, but every time I bring flowers home, they die instantly. So
I'm kind of the same way. My roommates are really good about it, but I'm not, so I try to just let them handle it.
Everything looks super nice when it's all there on the wall.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, that's all from us, but don't go away. NNN will be back after a short break.
This phone.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. opportunity awaits your knock.
This half hour on the Northwestern News Report, Title IX celebrates 50 years. What Northwestern is doing this week to commemorate this milestone.
Canvassing cats. How Northwestern students are getting Illinois residents out to the polls just 2 weeks before Election Day.
And Couplets with Cuisine. How one writer is celebrating cultures through food and poetry.
More of your news continues right now.
Hello and welcome back to the special edition of the Northwestern News Report. I'm Michaela Denault.
And I'm Gabrielle Coriati. There's a lot to get to in this half hour, so we're gonna jump right in. This weekend, Northwestern is celebrating the women in sports who have changed the game for today's athletes. I took a look at the progress that's been made in the 50 years of Title IX.
Well, in my grade school, there was nothing for the women for basketball.
Growing up, Karen Stack-Umlauf didn't think playing sports was a possibility.
My senior year, that I thought, you know what, I can play this sport and I want to do both things in college.
Playing basketball for Loyola and Northwestern during her college career, an opportunity because of Title IX.
Our sisters right before us didn't get the benefit of what I started to see as a student athlete at that time.
Passed in 1972, Title IX prohibits sex-based discrimination in any education program receiving federal funding.
Everything sort of crosses through Title IX in a lot of ways.
While covering all areas of education, including gender equity in STEM, sexual harassment, and protection of LGBTQ+ students, a big component of Title IX is equal opportunity for all in athletics.
It was giving me this opportunity that made me who I was.
Melissa Isaacson is an NU professor and a sports journalist. She's the driving force behind this upcoming weekend's event, bringing former NU and professional athletes for 50 years of Title IX.
It was always in the back of my mind that Northwestern needed to do something.
Many consider NU an early Title IX leader for its investment in women's sports during the 70s and 80s.
Because Northwestern had already experienced some success with their women's team, I think the administration there took notice and they fully supported what the women's basketball team was doing.
Looking back at progress while knowing there's work to be done.
So many schools that are still not in compliance with Title IX. So many schools that kind of give short shrift to women's sports, or they think they're abiding by the law, but they're really not.
50 years of change as athletes pass the ball to the next generation of women on the courts.
The event kicks off on Thursday evening in the Galvin Recital Hall. Here's just a few of the events taking place between Thursday and Saturday. For the full schedule, visit the URL on your screen.
Evanstonians are casting their ballots at the Morton Civic Center for the midterm elections. Early voting started yesterday here in Illinois. For the state's gubernatorial election, a Chicago Sun-Times and WBEZ poll shows Pritzker leading by 15 percentage points. Jobs, the economy, crime, and public safety are listed as some of the top voting concerns. Again, early voting in Evanston is at the Morton Civic Center. A full schedule is available on the City of Evanston's website.
The last couple weeks, you might have noticed fencing around 1838 Chicago. Well, that's the university making sure Allison Hall, Shepherd Hall, 1838 Chicago, and Rebecca Crown Center all have heat and water. NU Facilities is replacing buried steam and condensating piping. This was supposed to be completed prior to student move-in, but various delays happened, as they often do with construction. The fences came down yesterday, and NU Facilities tells NNN most construction will be finished by the end of October, though site restoration and landscaping will be completed before Thanksgiving.
The city of Evanston is soon going to look a little cleaner. In just under 4 weeks, the city's clean team will begin their work to make Evanston streets spotless. Evanston contracted New York City-based group Street Plus to complete the work. It's being paid for using funding from the American Rescue Act. The team will begin with street sweeping in mid-November, followed by removing signs and stickers from telephone poles.
It's been 3 years since the Evanston City Council launched its reparations initiative. It's the first of its kind in the nation, but have the city's residents actually been compensated? NNN's Bridget Aduwadiye has an update.
This hasn't been done before.
It's difficult to quantify the harm Black Evanstonians experienced from the city's discriminatory housing policies decades ago. But 5th Ward City Council member Bobby Burns says the city's reparations program has been transformative for some affected residents.
I would hope that everyone here could meet someone who has received the funds and use it to improve their home or use it to pay down their mortgage.
According to city officials, the Evanston Reparations Committee has documented 123 qualifying applicants. The first 16 each received $25,000 in home ownership assistance. But the Reparations Committee says 6 recipients have died. This presents 2 major challenges: how to make sure residents get compensation before it's too late, and how to identify affected residents.
I don't believe that every African American is going to be a recipient of the reparations.
Community members gathered here in Second Baptist Church on Saturday to discuss how the city can expand the program to reach more Black Evanstonians.
We wanted to do more, but the funds weren't there to do it.
According to city officials, $10 million in cannabis taxes funds the initiative, and there's $9 million left. The committee is moving forward with other funding sources using the city's real estate transfer tax and $3 million in federal funds.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Some opponents of the program have concerns about compensation being a handout, while city officials insist it's a help up.
You're owed this money. You're owed this compensation. You're owed this repair.
Reconciling past harm, working toward restorative relief.
And Bridget joins us now. Bridget, what's next for Evanstonians in terms of reparations?
Thanks, Gabby. So one thing the community is trying to do is to continue to educate the community and encourage them to apply when the application opens. Something that City Council member Bobby Burns mentioned during the town hall meeting on Saturday is that a lot of people don't know the difference between the local housing initiative here in Evanston and national initiatives that are starting across the nation. Another thing that they're looking forward to doing is create a ripple effect across the country, working with community members to start initiatives in Chicago and the state of Illinois and throughout the nation as well. And then something else that the community encourages with the upcoming midterm elections is for community members to vote and to educate their peers on reparations and the importance for the city at large. A lot of people may not know that reparations is an important issue coming up for the midterm elections, and civic participation is important to advancing the program.
Great. Thank you so much, Bridget.
With the midterm elections approaching, many Illinois residents find themselves canvassing in different places to advocate for a candidate or cause, and Northwestern students are no exception. NNN's Maria Heim followed a team of Wildcats canvassing away from home.
Knock, knock. Who's there? It's a shared experience.
You don't actually get to speak to that many people, but when you do, it's usually meaningful. You get to help them, you get to find out about their stories.
Northwestern students canvassing for Lauren Underwood on Saturday in Aurora, Illinois, District 14.
The difference will be made by knocking doors.
And first years like Yev, an international student from Vienna, also joining NU College Democrats ahead of the midterms.
My very first time canvassing, I was really worried because my first house there was a no soliciting dog sign, and I was like, do I really want to ring the doorbell?
Yev contributed to the team who covered about half a precinct, or 240 houses, in 2 hours.
I think it's really important to canvass, even just in Evanston, and just talk to actual people who are not college students, who are older than you.
This personal interaction makes the difference by being up close with voters.
So we know that having face-to-face conversations with voters is the most impactful way we have to influence elections and to, have meaningful change in our communities.
And the Democratic Party's app, Minivan, actually helps these college students canvass from door to door.
You can automatically sync your results to the campaign so they can get all your data, what you talked about with voters, who's a supporter, who's not.
Canvassing also impacts local level issues like participatory budgeting, which is a local government initiative where citizens decide how city funds are spent.
I think it's helpful just because it's more personal.
College students reflect on what it means for them to be the ones canvassing as Election Day inches closer.
is talking to students and getting people excited, regardless of what their views are, just getting people excited to have a voice in this process.
In Aurora, Maria Heim, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Maria. Several student groups are continuing their canvassing efforts over the coming weeks.
And you won't want to miss this. Mark your calendars now. NNN will be broadcasting live from here on election night. We'll bring you all the races and issues impacting Northwestern, Evanston, and beyond. Tune in at 6 p.m. That's again on election night, November 8th.
Coming up, shining a light on a cultural tradition, how one Northwestern organization celebrates Diwali.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
Microscope. It's our look at research news from across the university. Probably heard that getting enough sleep before a test will help you do better. And that's because during deep sleep, the brain remembers information. And you collaborated with the University of Chicago to study 5 people, and they found that recall improved with the participants' increased sleep. And new research showing that eating past dinner time can cause weight gain. This can disrupt your internal clock, also known as your circadian rhythm. The researchers found this causes increased rates of diabetes and obesity. And earlier this month, NU researchers called for subdividing Asian Americans into separate ethnic groups for measuring obesity and other medical data. The report says focusing on each ethnicity will allow health professionals to make more informed decisions.
From science to music on campus, Beanon School of Music is looking for new leadership. A committee consisting of Beanon faculty, students, staff, and alumni are currently searching for a new School of Music dean. The committee is also using recruiter Isaacson Miller to aid with the search. Northwestern community members are invited to share nominations by emailing Beanon Student Dean's Search at northwestern.edu. Trick or treat yourself. Businesses on the main Dempster Mile will be opening their doors to trick-or-treaters on Saturday for a fun Halloween goodie. The event will run all day, but between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., look out for some haunted tunes from the Raven Maniac Scarolers and the Spooky DJ Party on Main Street.
Today is the second to last day of Diwali, which marks the Hindu New Year. On Sunday, Northwestern students and other community members gathered in Khan Auditorium for a special event put on by the student group Hindu Yuva. NNN's Logan Skijano found out what it's all about.
This was the scene Sunday night inside Khan Auditorium, where a packed house took in a performance of the Ram Leela.
I like the visuals of it on the background, the paintings.
Ram Leela is the story of the Hindu Lord Rama, who returns from the forest after 14 years. He is guided home by rows of lights, or Deepawali. That's where the Hindu religious festival Diwali gets its name.
It's the birth date of one of our goddesses, Goddess Lakshmi. Lighting is generally used because to kind of signify that essence of prosperity and wealth.
Sunday's rendition of Ram Leela was performed by Mandela Arts, a South Asian performing arts group based in Chicago. Hosting the event, a new student organization at NU called Hindu Yuva.
Yuva stands for Youth for Unity, Action and Virtues. And the main idea was trying to get as many students interested in kind of forming a dynamic community of Hindu students.
And while there are other Hindu student groups at Northwestern,
Hindu Yuva, I'd say, is like the first organization that is actively geared towards celebration and action within the Hindu community.
With many students away from family during Diwali, Hindu Yuva's Ram Leela event brought a new group together.
I didn't go to a very diverse high school, so it was really cool to see Northwestern put on a production about stuff that I grew up hearing about but wasn't exactly surrounded by.
A festival of lights shining light on a vibrant community. Logan Skijano, Northwestern News Network.
Hindu Yuva says it hopes to host more events in the future, including temple cleanups and exhibitions showcasing Hindu values.
Poet Wana Udabang showed Northwestern community members how food, identity, and poetry are baked together. NNN's Ellie Skelly is here with how food helps define culture.
To poet Wana Udabang, I love my beef stew prepared with spices, roiko, soy sauce, paprika, beef cubes, curry, ginger, and garlic.
Comfort food serves as inspiration for personal revelation.
For me, food is a portal into memories, into people, into connections, into identities.
Udabang hosted a poetry workshop with NU's Department of African Studies on Thursday, encouraging the Northwestern community to explore the connection between food and identity.
To eat the comfort of your mother's love in that messy, unpredictable way, and then the drowse of tired children drifting into an African afternoon.
Northwestern's cultural departments are hoping to exhibit history through cuisine.
It's a connection to the past and a thread to the future.
And use food as a teaching tool.
When we emphasize on food and clothing and dance and music and art when we are teaching Arabic, we want the student to be part of that culture.
For some, food is about understanding different identities, while for others, it stirs memories of childhood.
It speaks to who we are. Our families, our friends, we're all sitting around eating.
And serves as a connection to home.
Remind us of our culture, our roots, childhood.
At the intersection of food and identity, Ellie Skelly, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Ellie. Displayed at the event were archived books on both African food and identity. To access these resources, head to New Search for the online catalog or contact the Department of African Studies Hertzkovitz Library.
When we come back, bringing out the wild in Wildcats, how the student section shows school spirit with a new system.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
Northwestern Wildside brings the Wildcat spirit to our home games. And this year, the organization has implemented a new system. NNN's Caitlin Bender-Thomas has more on what this means for students.
Wildside is the student section of Northwestern Athletics. Previously, taking advantage of Wildside's game giveaways was as simple as presenting your wild card. But this year, there's an additional measure.
We have had people just take someone else's wild card and go up, and the sticker system kind of mitigates that.
The sticker system makes every student who signs up a Wildside member. They are required to fill out this form here, and then they are given a sticker to place on their wild card.
That gets you unlimited access to all the giveaways for all sports, and on top of that, it gets you, like I said, on a mailing list.
Contreras says it was implemented to track membership, game interest, and t-shirt sizes, as well as improve communication with students.
It helps put Wildside on the mind of the students because we want the students to see Wildside as a community.
But this change didn't come without challenges. At a football game earlier this month, Vice President Paul Lynn says students grew impatient and began stealing merch, but she doesn't entirely blame the sign-up process.
But I will say that I think it probably made it worse because people feel like now it's another step.
Still, Wildside's giveaways have been effective in creating larger turnouts at games, and they will continue under the new system.
People don't just see it as a burden to go out of their way and stop studying, whatever else, to go to a sports game. People actually want to go to them.
Transforming the student game day experience one form at a time. Caitlin Bender-Thomas, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Caitlin. Students can follow at NU Wildside on Instagram to stay up to date on games and giveaways. The membership form can also be found on nuwildside.com.
Coming up, a spooky Evanston tradition is back for frights and fun. We take you to the Evanston Zombie Scramble. Community members try to keep all of their lives intact while running almost 2 miles through Evanston. And they receive special motivation to run.
So as zombies, we're just going to kind of scare people into motivation, which is really fun because next weekend is Halloween.
Try not to jump. That's coming up next.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Why spend your entire life looking for some on-ramp to the road to opportunity when there's already a well-traveled path? So you may be wondering, what does that path look like? Is it paved with gold? Well, here's a hint. It's actually paved with purple. Northwestern University. Your road starts here.
Why hang around waiting for opportunity to knock when instead you can track opportunity down and knock on its door? You might ask, what's the best way to identify where opportunity lives? Here's a hint. Its door is colored purple. Northwestern University. Opportunity awaits your knock.
Evanston celebrated fall with the Erie event last weekend. NNN's Alexia Cadota-Browner joined in on the fun.
What better motivation to run than being chased by a zombie? Evanston Parks and Recreation's annual Zombie Scramble made its return last Saturday.
This year it kind of feels like it's back and better than ever. I just feel like, becoming a part of the community and helping out and volunteering.
Wearing a belt with flags to represent their lives, participants ran a course with hidden zombies ready to infect them by chasing and taking their flags.
We were shut down due to COVID-19 in 20 and 21, and now we're back.
The almost 2-mile race took participants through Evanston's Ladd Arboretum, Butler Park, and Twiggs Park.
For participants, we sold out. We had to take down all of the advertisement for it. I think the city of Evanston really missed this event, and I think the participants this year are really excited to be back.
With more than 65 volunteer zombies infecting runners, over 900 participants tried to finish the course with their lives intact.
So as zombies, we're just going to kind of scare people into motivation, which is really fun because next weekend is Halloween.
A perfect opportunity to be more involved within the community. Alexia Cadota-Browner, Northwestern News Network.
Alexia joins us now. Can you tell us a bit more about what Evanston Events is hosting for the fall season?
Sure thing. So besides a Fall Fest block party and Halloween pop-up shop, they also had a trunk-or-treat event for the younger Evanstonians. Along with the Zombie Scramble, Fleetwood Jourdain is hosting a haunted house called Nightmare on Foster Street this Friday. To top it all off, Evanston's official trick-or-treat hours are 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Monday, October 31st. I hope everyone has a great Halloween.
Alexia, I hope you have the best Halloween too. Do you have any specific Halloween plans?
I am super excited, actually. I have 5 costumes prepared, so I think it's going to be a great weekend and a great time
That's
overall.
a lot of costumes. What are the 5?
So I think I'm going to be a unicorn, might be a flapper, like Roaring Twenties style. A lot of super fun stuff. I'm excited.
Amazing. Thanks, Alexia. I can't believe we're at the end of this hour. What a great show, Gabby.
I know, it was super special both to anchor half of it. Julia and Andrew did a great job in the first half, and also doing that package on Title IX was really special. So I just want to remind everyone again that that event will be this weekend if you do have the time to go out and see that. And that's all the time we have for tonight.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Michaela Denault.
And I'm Gabrielle Coriati. Be sure to catch our election special on November 8th. Have a good night.